Hillary Clinton surrenders her security clearance. What year is it? And Rod Rosenstein and the FBI give the finger to the United States House of Representatives. Coming up next on Deceptions of the Ages News. Hello everybody and welcome to Deceptions of the Ages News. Today we have a follow-up story to yesterday's story about how Hillary Clinton has gone full tinfoil hat and started using Nazi tactics against her opponents. All right, and of course that goes all the way down the Democratic chain. So today's story is actually a follow-up to that, but before we talk about that, I need to just explain to everybody that today is very special. It is 100 episodes of Deceptions of the Ages News. Now, we are almost at 3,000 subscribers, and we are almost at the 1 year mark. So it is really a historical occasion. At the beginning of November, that will be our birthday. That will be 1 year on November 2nd. And we have almost got 3,000 subscribers. So at some point in the future, you may look at this and go, oh, wow, look at, they were a year old and they had only 3,000 subscribers. And now look at, they have like 1 million. So that's amazing how much that channel grew. But anyway, I just have to say thank you to everybody who has subscribed and stayed with it over the year. And I hope that you really enjoy this content, and I hope that you'll stay with it. And I just want to also point out that in a time where the media and everything you see is trying to divide people, well, I'm trying to bring Americans and people who love freedom and Christianity and whatever freedom of thought, the freedom to do your own thing and not be oppressed by others. That is what we all stand for, that subscribe to this channel and that enjoy this content. So we're sticking together, and this is really a nice example for everybody else around the world, actually, that we want this information, we need this information, we need the lies to be cut through and explained, and it happens here on Deceptions of the Ages News. So again, thank you everybody, and as we come to our birthday, we'll have a nice celebration, and I'll talk more about some of the things I'm going to give away, but somebody's going to be getting some free books and possibly an iPad. Okay, so again, thank you for subscribing, and don't forget, I have a Patreon account, Patreon /HEINESSIGHT. So if you want to go there and become a sponsor of this channel, the Matthew Heines channel, the Books in Hindsight podcast, and you would also be not sponsoring me as a political candidate, but I am a political candidate in Washington State, because I have said it is enough is enough. And I'm not going to take it anymore, and I'm not going to sit back and just take it. And if you are the kind of person that does that, well, okay, fine, but could you help me in my fight for justice and Americans? Okay, so again, thank you so much for subscribing and allowing this to happen. And we do need money to continue, so we will need sponsors on Patreon. All right, so let's just jump into today's story. Rod Rosenstein has been subpoenaed, or not subpoenaed, they're going to have to subpoena him. He has been requested to appear at the United States House of Representatives to answer questions about why he said that he was going to record President Trump secretly, which is a felony, right? So Rod Rosenstein was going to commit a felony, and his response is that he was just joking. Well, unfortunately for Herr Rosenstein and his Gestapo, One of his underlings was listed in the room. He's actually the legal, he's the head of the legal department for the FBI, and he testified before Congress, as did Lisa Strozk, that Rosenstein was absolutely serious when he said he was going to go in and tape record President Trump. So I don't know if you can actually, you can't, try people. I mean, this isn't that Spielberg movie with Tom Cruise in it yet. It's coming there very quickly, but it's not there yet. Intent, he didn't commit the crime, but the fact that the senior official on the FBI and the one who has been overseeing the administration's this investigation into Trump and the Russia collusion, the head guy is lying, and now he won't even go before Congress. And once again, the House of Representatives is going to get angry, and they're going to send a nasty note. And what they're going to do is they're going to subpoena Rosenstein, and when he won't go until, because he's just waiting out this election thing. And now these Democrats are very sure they've got the George Soros machines in place. They are absolutely positive that they're going to be able to take over the House of Representatives. So if you don't vote, if you don't think that this is important, if you don't get out there, and if you don't make sure that the voting in your area, in your state, in your precinct is on the up and up, and that the illegals and voting, like in Washington State, where 3 million ballots just disappeared in the last election. Where did they go? Gee, how many of those you think were Republican votes? So anyway, I'm doing what I can in my neck of the woods. I have very limited resources, but I'm continuing the fight all the way until November 6th. And I'm going to run in as a write-in candidate in Washington State. So I'm keeping up the fight. And you got to too, because if we lose this, we lose America. And I don't think people really understand that, but these are Nazis. These are communists, Nazis, totalitarians. They want to take away our right to vote, and they just want to make sure that people that work for a living support everybody else, right? And that's where this is going. It's going to be just like communism in Russia, where you couldn't get anything, and it was just a nightmare. And anyway, that's where we're going, because we've had all these people come into the country who are okay with that. They come from communist regimes, and they can't wait to get that going here, or some kind of caliphate. So anyway, with all that in the background, thanks to the Clintons and Obama, and how Americans have got what they deserve because they didn't do anything this whole time. I was overseas. I was over there actually trying to make a good impression about America. But while I was overseas, you guys just let everything happen. And so now it's come to a head, and we have Rosenstein is thumbing his nose because he's just waiting for the election. And they're so sure that they're going to win this election and throw Trump out of office that they don't have to even do anything. So that kind of makes our government a joke there. All right, now the next part of this is Clinton. Clinton, after what year is it? I think she served until 2012 or something. But Clinton somehow has a security clearance. Now, why does Clinton have a security clearance? And not only does Clinton have a security clearance, Sheryl Mills still has a security clearance. And why do they have them? For the reasons of what they call research. Now, what kind of research could they be doing? And let's just go back again to the email server, because they're closing in on her about that. And I'll explain that before we talk about her still having a security clearance. The reason they are going after her emails is because, for example, during the congressional hearings, we heard that when Benghazi was being overrun, she was sitting there going back and forth with the ambassador, Christopher Stevens, trying to get this guy who had paid hundreds of thousands into the Clinton campaign. She was saying, well, can you meet with him? Can you do this for him? Can you do this for him? Well, he's under attack. by these people, and she's trying to sell money for political favors in Libya. And so right before this guy is killed, those are the last things he did, was send out emails to Hillary Clinton so that she could get her big donor some political perks. So that's and that's what the emails were for, and that's why she kept her security clearance this whole time, and that's why Donna Mills and 5 or 4 other people are doing research for her. What they're doing is anybody can come to her and say, can you spy on somebody? Can you get somebody? Because remember, they're unmasking people that shouldn't be unmasked. So they have access to everybody's information, and it's how many years down the road now? 7 years? So you need to really think about who's running this government. And again, I can't stand it, and I'm still doing something about it. And I'm going to go to the end of this election, and then in 2020, I'm going to run again, but as the governor or somebody. But I am running as a write-in candidate in Washington State for Suzanne DelBenny's position. If you know anybody in Washington State, I'm going to put a thing on change.org, and I'm going for it. I'm not going to stand for this at all. And so, you can sit there and do nothing, but I can't. So that is what is happening today. We have the head of the FBI of a major investigation, the deputy director or whatever, and he is just giving the finger to the United States Congress and laughing about it, right? So that's what Herr Rosenstein is going to do, him and his little Gestapo group. And then you have, on the other hand, somehow Hillary Clinton, even after Trump won the White House, still has a security clearance. And not only her, but 5 other people. And this is somebody who was spying on, was doing pay-to-play. I'm not even going to go into it, but this is somebody who is selling the government, to the highest bidder, selling the United States and its people to the highest bidder. And she still has access 2 years after President Trump took office. So, and the funny thing is, through it all, is that according to this document that I'll put up I'll put a link to it in the description, she asked for the security clearance to be revoked, right? Nobody even said, hey, does Hillary Clinton have a security clearance? Why is that? All right, well, this is what is happening in your world right now. And unfortunately, things are not going well. So that's our report for today. And this is Deception of the Ages News. Oh, we'll see you next time.